Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Today I want to talk to you about how Exoticals and MLS people, we can social climb using many different strategies. I'm going to be talking about those in this video. Also, I am recording this from a different angle, so if my audio sounds weird, I'm sorry. Another thing is I want to talk about my recent video on Sierra. I think that some of you guys viewed that as some sort of negative video. That wasn't supposed to be a negative video about Sierra at all. I was never trying to say that she is somehow invalid or that somehow she is, that she doesn't already have admixture. I was trying to point out the fact that if you do have admixture, you can use strategies similar to Sierra to play up your admixture or to represent whatever phenotype you feel looks best on you. And you can use those things to get your exotical tax. So I'm going to be talking more about that today. Another announcement that I want to make is that I do have a Patreon, so if you want to join the Patreon, I will link that in the description. This Patreon is going to be very transformative. You're going to be bursting through inferiority complexes. You're going to be getting a lot of increase when it comes to your mental health. You're going to be learning a lot about how you can embrace the things that you have and play up both the good sides of yourself and even the darker sides of yourself to get what you want. So if you're interested in joining the Patreon, definitely click the link in the description. But let's go ahead and get into it. So today I'm going to talk about social climbing. When I use the term social climbing, I'm talking about the act of improving your social position by being friendly to people from a higher class. I'm talking about leveling up and living the life that you want to live. I see a lot of people online talking about the concept of the soft life. I believe that the soft life is very subjective. I think that the soft life is really determined by you, and you get to decide what living your best life looks like. This is an important thing to talk about because I feel like a lot of us here in the Pretty Girl Club, we have had lots of people who will purposely try to sabotage us, and the ways that they try to sabotage us are by withholding information from us. Some people purposely want to give us bad advice, or they purposely don't want to tell us how we can succeed. And so I think that because of that, a lot of MLS people may potentially lack social skills, or they may just lack the knowledge that is needed to get out of a bad situation. Everybody knows that, like, if you are in a narcissistic relationship, that narcissist, they want to do everything in their power to control you. And I feel like MLS people, we are kind of like that stepchild of the Black community, where a lot of the Black community just seeks to control us. And part of controlling us is by keeping us in the exact same position, in the same social status, in the same everything. In the same social status, in the same communities, in the same mindset. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's where you want to be in life. I would say this may not be the channel for you then. But if you want to attain that fluid identity, and if you want to be able to navigate in many different spaces and have a successful life no matter where you go, then this content is definitely for you. Social climbing is about power. So this is why I talk a lot on this channel about things like pretty privilege. Pretty privilege is going to be very important in your social climbing journey because beauty gives you social power. Everyone in this world chases after some sort of beauty, whether it's the beauty of a landscape, a beautiful home, a beautiful car, and yes, even a beautiful woman. So pretty privilege, I would say, is really the foundation that you need to even get started on this journey. Also, when you look good, you feel better about yourself in general. And this is something that I had to learn on my own, and this is something where I feel like a lot of women in the Black community, they want to tell other women that, like, oh, being pretty doesn't matter. Meanwhile, those same women will be flexing on your ass. Those same women will be showing off their bodies, hair done, nails done, everything did. They will look their best at all times so that they can gain an advantage over you, because those women understand the social power that comes with beauty. And like I said, this is why we also see toxic mothers and toxic boyfriends who discourage us from wearing makeup or wearing any sort of beauty enhancement. That's because they don't want you to have that social power that comes with pretty privilege. They don't want you to be able to flip your hair and have all eyes on you. They don't want you to be able to walk into the tire shop and get free tires, or, have someone treating you special because of your beauty. They want you to stay in a powerless position, because if you're powerless, it means you need them. This is a typical narcissistic manipulation tactic. The narcissist always wants their supply to remain powerless. A narcissist is a person who needs to feel needed. So if you have no social power, and no pretty privilege, then you need them. You need their validation. You need their provision. You need their protection. You need everything from them. Another way that you can attain social power is by educating yourself. So it doesn't have to be going to college, but if you get some sort of education or some sort of certification and you have the opportunity to get a career or sustain yourself financially, then that can actually help you. Even if, let's say you want to be a social media influencer. Did you know that there are courses that you can take to learn how to be a social media influencer? There are courses you can take that will help you to learn how to get modeling gigs, how to make money from your Instagram account, how to have a fashion TikTok and get brand deals. So educating yourself is actually going to give you the power to get away from people who are trying to hold you back. And notice how a lot of narcissistic men, especially in the red pill space, they'll say things like, well, I don't care about your education. Well, of course, you don't care about her getting an education, because if she's educated and attains the skills that she needs to get her exotical tax, then she can successfully leave your ass. Because remember, ladies, it actually costs money to stay in these wealthy spaces. Like, let's say you want to join a country club so you can meet a guy or something. It costs money for you to join that country club. And this is what a lot of women don't think about. And this is why a lot of women fail when it comes to social climbing, because they don't have the foundation set. They don't even have the money to maintain their looks. They don't have the money to even go on the vacation. They don't have the money to even buy the cup of coffee in the fancy coffee shop so that they can sit around and look cute and get hit on. So I do believe that there are certain things that you have to have already set and already in place before you can even begin social climbing. How do you think that people like Meghan Markle or Karrueche Tran were able to even get into those clubs or get around, the types of people that they wanted to hang around? They had a whole entire strategy that was going along with it. And actually, I want to tell a story about one of my friends in college. So you guys know that I went to an HBCU. I did happen to hang out with mostly MLS women, and I didn't even do this on purpose. But so one of my friends, she was a darker skin, kind of more unambiguous passing, but she was Puerto Rican though. So that was one of my friends. And then another one of my friends was like a mixed race, multi-generationally mixed girl. So anyway, this girl, the MGM girl, she really wanted to date a rapper or an NBA player. I mean, say what you want about that. I personally don't want to do that, but that's what she wanted to do. That was her goal. Let me tell you how this girl did this. She had a whole freaking calendar in her phone of which guys were coming into town on which weekends. She would always come in the dorm room and ask us hey, do you want to go to this party this weekend? And I was like, I personally didn't end up going to a lot of the parties because I'm not like that. But she was like, hey, so, Chris Brown's coming this weekend, and then Paul Wall's coming next weekend, and then Pitbull's coming the weekend after that. She literally kept track of which famous NBA players and rappers and stuff were coming into town, and she saved up her money so that she could be able to get into these clubs. Yes, I know that a lot of you guys are like, oh, well, I should be able to get into everything for free. I mean, if you can get into everything for free, then by all means do that. But for most people, you can only get into some things for free, because let's say you are living in a new city where you don't really know people and you don't have the connections, it is going to be more difficult to get into those spaces. So with my friend, she was saving up all of her money or whatever. She worked a job and she would spend her money on going to the club every single weekend so that she could get into these parties. And at first I was thinking, wow, that is so freaking desperate. She is such a groupie. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. But I never said it because I was like, hey, you know what? If that's her dream, then that's totally fine. And so one day we ended up getting into, I'm not kidding, we ended up getting into this party where Chris Brown was there. I'm not trying to I was not a groupie. I just went with them. And I didn't actually go to the section or anything like that, because I'm just not like that. I'm not interested in dating a celebrity or whatever. So anyway, we ended up being able to go to this Chris Brown party, and then nothing happened. I didn't meet anybody. I ended up going home because I just wanted to go to sleep or whatever. And this went on for about 6 months, where my friend kept going to the club and she kept on, nothing was happening. And so I remember thinking, wow, she's really wasting hundreds of dollars going to all these clubs, not getting noticed by any guys. So she kept doing this for about 6 months, and then eventually she ended up meeting some rapper. Like, he wasn't famous or anything. He wasn't that famous. He was kind of like a local rapper in the city that we were living in. And she ended up being able to get in this rapper's music video because she was kind of like, going to all these clubs and meeting all these people or whatever. And then after she was able to be in the music video, she also majored. She had a similar major to me. So she was doing things like communications, journalism, writing, production, film, things like that. So she was in this music video. She was able to get an IMDb page. For a lot of you who are interested in being actresses or models or producers, or you want to work in Hollywood, it's very important for you to have an IMDb page because that's kind of like your online resume. So this friend who used to be a club groupie was able to get an IMDb page because she was in this one rapper's music video. And then she used that IMDb page to get internships, like professional internships at local hip hop TV stations and stuff. And then she was able to become a small time host for Revolt TV. That's the same one that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Revolt TV, that's the same one that the girl from the City Girls is on or whatever. So she was able to do this back then. And it all started with her investing the time, energy, and the money into being in these spaces where she could kind of meet people and network. So even though she was kind of like a groupie or whatever in my eyes, what she was really doing was she was social climbing. So as far as what she wanted, she just wanted to, I guess, kind of be like a Cardi B type or kind of like the City Girls. She was able to use the resources that she had so that she could create opportunities for herself. So that's what I mean when I say social climbing. Now, say what you want about her background, say what you want about how she did it, but she was using a strategy. So social climbing is all about strategies. I want you guys here in the Pretty Girl Club to begin thinking about where you see yourself. Like, if you could literally have your dream life, like with no limits, don't worry about colorism, texturism, featurism, racism, anti-blackness. If you looked perfectly how you wanted to look and you had exactly the amount of money you wanted to have, what would you be doing? What types of spaces would you be operating in? Would you be a full-time content creator? Would you be a full-time model? Would you be a person that gets to travel and taste food and like review restaurants and stuff? What would you be doing? Because my friend in college, even though we were all just broke college students, I viewed her at the time as just another, college student. I kind of thought that some of the behaviors that she was exhibiting were a little bit ratchet or whatever. But because I wasn't judgmental, I was still like supporting her. But in her mind, she had a whole entire plan lined up. She was like, hey, no, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go here, then I'm going to work at a record label, then I'm going to do that. And so I want us in the Pretty Girl Club to begin strategizing and thinking about exactly what it is that we want and how we want to social climb. So like for me personally, I've always wanted to be a full-time content creator. And so that's why I began experimenting. Even years ago, I began experimenting with like Instagram or with YouTube or with like making random little videos. And this channel that I'm on right now happened to be the one that popped off. And so that's why I'm still here. But I came into YouTube with a strategy. I didn't just come on here talking shit randomly. I came on here thinking, okay, I'm going to post XYZ number of videos per week. And yes, I may have fallen off at some points, but that was because at that time, I was still kind of centering men more. And that's another tip. If your dream life doesn't involve centering a man, then that's okay. There is no wrong way to be a woman. I think that women don't have to be a monolith. If you feel like you can't live your best life without marriage or without kids or whatever, then by all means go for that. And you should use the same strategies that I'm talking about. So kind of like Meghan Markle. She social climbed her way into being with Prince Harry. So say what you want about that, but she had a whole strategy lined up. She read the book that he wrote, I guess. She kind of like studied all of these different qualities about him. And apparently she was even doing things to kind of appeal to his shadow self. I mean, I've heard some crazy theories about Meghan Markle and her husband, but that's the whole point of privileges. That's the whole point of pretty privilege. What privilege do you have if you're not using it? What privilege do you really have if it's not getting you anything in life? So this is why I'm all for things like surgery if necessary, or working out, or improving your looks, or improving your social skills, or knowing how to be sweet, knowing how to maneuver your body language so that you can come off as being more honest or more trustworthy. Social climbing is actually a good thing because if you get to the place where you want to be in life, you can then turn around and help other people who may not be in the same place as you. Like for me, once I became confident in how I looked or confident in my background, I was able to create this YouTube channel to help other people. Once I became confident in my own editing skills, in my own speaking skills, in my own YouTube channel creation skills, that was how I was able to go out into the world and make a difference. So I think that the people who view social climbing as something that's automatically malicious, those are the people who are usually not builders. Those are usually the people who are just sitting on the sidelines watching everybody else grow. They're watching everybody else's bank accounts grow. They're watching everybody else live the life of their dreams, and they're not living the lives of their dreams, and so that's why they're mad at you. So I would say definitely don't listen to the people who they have no idea what they're doing, because of course somebody's going to talk shit when they're not doing shit. A lot of people like to read books like The 48 Laws of Power and The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, but those same people, they don't want to use what they've learned. And it's funny because I've also seen guys talk crap about women who are seductive, but then those same guys would love to be seduced by a woman that they find attractive. So it's extremely hypocritical. The world that we live in is a hypocritical world. So definitely don't listen to other people who try to control you or tell you what to do. It's always the better choice for you to just live life how you want, because people are going to talk crap either way. Haters are going to hate either way. And also, if a person is spending all of their time talking about you or spreading lies about you on social media, that's actually a sign that you're doing something right. That's a sign that that person is actually obsessed with you and they're actually a fan. That means that they really like you a lot if they're spending all of their time talking about you instead of focusing on their own lives. That means that you are living in their head rent-free. Anyway, what do you ladies think about social climbing? Are you guys interested in doing that? Have you social climbed in college or in high school? How are you guys planning to live your best lives in 2024? Because we've got, I think, less than 90 days until the new year, so time is going to pass you by regardless of what you do. Anyway, let me know what you think of this video in the comments section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.